I just took my makeup off. It's such a shame. Ugh. And I had this really cool necklace on. You guys see the worst of me? YouTube, you see the worst of me. If you want to see me nice, go to my Instagram. I look so nice on my Insta. Because I actually wear fancy dresses on my Instagram. Today was mental because I had... What was I even doing? I was supposed to go to do something else. What the fuck was I supposed to do? Can't remember what I was supposed to do today, but anyway, I got a message from Tony Curran saying, yo, let's go for a coffee. Because he's in Glasgow for ages doing the prequel to Outlander, which was so good. And also, how do I know Tony Curran? Jesus Christ! I met him in LA. I met him like 2014 or something. Karen, my pal Karen, who was in Doctor Who, is amazing. I'm sorry, just eating food right now is like happening because I had to do so much shit today. Karen took me to... God, I have to show you another crystal. Look at that one. I think I've shown you that before. Anyway, Karen invited me to the... I mean, it was like Soho House when it was in LA, you know, the one in Bev Hills. And I was so excited to be like two gingers, me. And it was such a Scottish vibe. And we had like a rave. I've still got little photographs that we took. Oh yeah, there's the moonstones in that one. Ooh, wait a minute. This is like for fertility. That is no joke. If you want to get pregnant, get a moonstone. But if you want to start an idea, if you don't have any ideas about what you want to do, get moonstones. There's a moonstone beach in California. It's a fucking nice place. It's very moonstony. Anyway, it's very iridescent. It's very kind of like the opals we found in Sri Lanka when I was diving there. Anyway, scuba diving. Anyway, Karen invited me to Soho House and I went, and it was like a party, and I still have the little passport photos of me, Karen, and I think it's even on my Instagram, like the date of it, because it was a long time ago. It was like, it was 11 years ago or something, to just have a rave of Scottish people. Like, we took over the Soho House that night. It was so fun. And I remember Ginger, somebody, like being in a diner or something with, it was like Comston and me in a diner, in like Mel's diner with, I had a sore throat for some reason. I sounded like Lauren Bacall, so like everything the two of them said made me laugh. And I was like laughing so hard that I don't know if my voice got worse, but that also happened. Like I remember that time with Tony, and that might have been before or after that. And also it was when we were all auditioning for these like epic films in the States. And Tony had literally just done The Invisible Man, and we were taking the piss out of him because you didn't see his fucking face in that, you know. You don't see his face in The Invisible Man at all. So I'm sure his whole family were like, well done. I'm glad you went to the States. But the other thing that was funny is that we've done a lot of, you know, I sent him a video for some reason I sent him a picture of this portrait I've got of John Lennon and Yoko Ono. It's called Honeymoon. And it's a drawing John Lennon did of Yoko and him. Like, oh, it's such a nice wee sketch. And I literally had that print in my office for like years and years and years and years and years, and had it framed. And it was special to me. And the other thing that happened is, so I'm like ready to go to this coffee, and I know it's going to be so funny. Like I know Tony Curran will have got a lot of jokes from his family, and like he'll be telling me them. So I came home and I put on this really cool all neon, oh fuck, I wish you could see it. I don't even have it on anymore, but it was like something that I had on all night long. until 2 minutes ago when I got home and I like took off. But it was all green neon Celtic colours for Tony Curran, like really beautiful green, kind of like this colour but even greener than that. So it's like the stripy and it's off the shoulder dress. Oh, look, it's these neon trousers, shorts. My neon shorts are still here. I wore my neon shorts under my dress because I wanted to have like do a full Celtic vibe for the TC for Tony Curran. And it was so funny because I was like, he was at the gym. He was like, I'll meet you after the gym, and I was like, yes. And I wanted to meet him at my local place here in Finiston, which, by the way, is the new place here. And I was taking a piss out of him because when he showed up, his jacket was the same colour as my whole cafe. It's so stupid, but his whole jacket was coffee coloured, like light brown colour. It was so funny, like tan. Like he'd production design himself with the costume designer to be like, this is the place. But I was like, this is my local, so I'm literally so excited to have my local coffee place. And he got a matcha, which is so cute, because I told him when he was in New York to go to Matchaful, because that's Hannah's place. Everyone go, because that's my friend Hannah's place. It's such good stuff. But anyway, you can get like a pistachio matcha, which is green, so it works really well. The colours for Celtic and all that. And then we were pissing ourselves laughing. We always piss ourselves laughing. And I can't even remember like half the shit we said to each other, but it's just like is funny chat. And then, oh God, we had so much to catch up on because I was like fucking telling him all about Collection, Happy TV show that I directed with Chris Maloney. Like I was telling him funny stories about me and Chris Maloney because that is a Glaswegian comic book that is based on. So it's a TV show that is a Universal Studios fucking amazing studio TV show. And what happened is the guys who were doing it, who were going to be my boss, Patrick and Chris Maloney, so they were like, yo, they watched Bitch on Netflix and they just phoned me and wanted to give me the job on directing 2 episodes of their second season for Happy in New York, because Chris Maloney's obviously in New York. And I was like, yo, I want to do that anyway, you guys. Like, what do you want me to give you? Can I give you my right arm to do this job anyway? Because it was just over the phone. I said I just really love the show. It's such an anti-hero vibe, and I was really excited to like bring a female gaze. And he said, I said, just let me know like if I can cut off a limb for you, like which limb of mine you'd like, because I really want the job, so I'll send you this limb of mine in the post. Sorry, and they were like, I knew they were going to be good bosses because they said, yeah, we're thinking about like your right arm or maybe your left leg, we'll figure it out and we'll let you know, definitely. And it was just like funny that they are that into improv, you know what I mean? Like they're obviously, like you guys you've been actors before, you know? And Chris Maloney had done this very incredible, you know, TV show for years and years and years in the States and wanted to do something different. So Happy TV show kind of came out of that and is about a cop who's turned bad. And the part of the comic I love was when his wife was with him, like he was kind of in love, he was married, he like had this life, you know, and he was like this perfect husband, and then it all got like destroyed. And the thing I remember about the comic so clearly is like the fact that he was a husband, he was a groom, you know, like he was in a church and she was a bride and all that. And then I remember talking to Maloney and being like, that is such a profound part of his character, that he was married to her, like he married her in a church. And Maloney was like, yeah, I didn't think about that at all. I only think about how much of an anti-hero he is and how intense it is to play somebody that is this intense and negative, or like the dark side, the shadow side of all of us. And what was cool as well was I showed up in New York. They picked me up in a limo, because when you're DGA, your Directors Guild of America, you get limo drivers and shit. You're not getting the 77 bus into town. I don't have a bus driver, I have a limo driver. And And so I was telling Tony Curran all about this because I knew that he would appreciate it, and I hadn't told him the story. And basically what happened is I had come from LA to go to New York, and I just basically get off the limo to go to my house, and they put me in this like palatial, very beautiful, it was in like my favorite part of Greenpoint, Brooklyn. It was literally next to Evangeline, like Fort Greene, next to Evangeline the restaurant. It's like the best part of everywhere, best part of Brooklyn, but like that's such a good restaurant. And I was like, if I lived in New York now, that's where I'd live. I'd live like next to that restaurant because it's such good food, and the vibe in that place is just, it's like my vibe. It's kind of like the Silver Lake of where you would go, because I fucking love Silver Lake in LA. But anyway, I definitely felt compelled by this idea that, oh my God, I had started in New York as a student, like going to the Atlantic Theatre Company every day, studying, doing these shows and plays on the stage, on the main stage in the off-Broadway theatre, and being in the plays, but also feeling like, wow, you know, the dreams had come true. But it felt very much like, you know, I was getting a bagel and stuff every day, or an orange juice from Chelsea Market, or getting anything. I didn't even eat that much because I was just like so busy working at cocktail waitressing until the middle of the night. So I didn't have a limo driver back in that time. I had like a backpack and that was it. I didn't have like the ability to get a car to, like pick me up from anywhere, like never mind JFK, you know what I mean? I was always like getting the A train. Take the A train as a jazz number. It's a good jazz number. Anyway, but it was nice to be back in New York and like be balling, because I had not done that. So I said to the limo driver, yo, I'm going to match a full every day. So just so you know, this is where they are. There's a few of them in different parts. There's a few in Manhattan and there's a few in Brooklyn, but like literally the one that's closest to me was like at that time like on J Street. I don't even think it's there anymore, but I loved that area too. Dumbo. And I said, yo, to my limo driver, I'm going to be picking up like every morning like 5 of these different matches, and I'm going to drink them all before I fucking start work, because that's my job. That's like my job and my life. That's my joy. And he was like, yeah, Mariana, like we'll fucking go wherever the fuck. Like if I wanted to go to like a casino, he would have taken me. If I wanted to go to like any fucking where, like Coney Island on a whim at like 4 a.m, he'd have to fucking take me. And I'd just be like, I'm not doing that. I just want to go to Matcha Full in the morning and like see what Hannah has to offer today, because she's like the one who created it and I love Hannah. Anyway, I just genuinely was so pumped to be employed in that job. And then when I was talking to Chris Maloney, because he's the one who literally like started the whole TV show of Happy TV show, the cast were really happy, and I got to talk a lot about what I thought the second season kind of could be, because it was an Easter vibe. And I showed them my nails that I had gotten done like in Beverly Hills before I left. I got my nails done like pastel colors, like pastel pink and these different colors, and I got gel nails pointy to have for the shoot. And I just was like, this is the color wheel for my 2 episodes, because it's Easter and everything's pastels, because they had just done season 1, a Christmas season, which I was like, that's so gorgeous, so let's do Easter. And like, God bless me that I'm like so Catholic, I get the Easter vibes, like he is risen. Christ has come again, guys, and he is with Mary Magdalene, and they are actually married. Yes, they had like 12 children. Why do you think people are related to Jesus? Because he shagged her and had children with her. He loved her. He loved women. Jesus was a feminist. Fuck's sake, you already here first. I'm coming up with shit like by myself tonight. So Jesus was a feminist. Put it on my gravestone. Anyway, he was like very, very, very funny. He was lighthearted. He was very like intelligent. I don't know. He had like a lot of love to give. Anyway, I definitely felt in New York all these feelings, and it was the same year I like just landed there, and it was my birthday. So like I think they took me to, somebody wanted to take me to The Boss, to see The Boss, Bruce Springsteen, my idol. I know every one of his songs. I know The River off by heart. Other than More Than This, which I do for karaoke, I do More Than This. I also like to do every Bruce Springsteen song, because there's something amazing about like singing Bruce Springsteen with so much heart, off by heart, like how you just destroy Bruce Springsteen, and Leonard Cohen songs like aggressively in a good way at karaoke, with a lot of passion. And then also I had been there because it was my birthday and it was like September, so it was funny to be in New York in the autumn again, which is a time that I would have started school at Atlantic kind of vibes. But instead of doing that, because I had graduated from there, I was doing a TV show that I was directing that had such a big budget. It was ridiculous. Each episode was so huge. And I worked physically less than I ever had to on any project. Like, I didn't have to do anything. Like, I could go like this and just show them the nails that I had, the colors that I had, and I just delegated to everyone. And when I shortlisted with the DP, and he was amazing. But I remember just saying to the production designer, this is a color wheel, and this is to the like costume designer as well. And I got to come in and just like vibe up the cast and big them up, and it just felt really nice to be in something that was that beautiful. And I remember, because I was doing this homage to my time in New York, I put like in this one dream sequence, I put like these little dots under the actress's eyes, and she had like little diamonds, and even she was like, that is very movie star feeling. Like, I was like, yeah, it's cinematic, mate. Like, this is cinematic. Welcome to Mariana Palka directs this. It's cinema. It's maybe a TV show, but it's cinema. And everything was justified camera movement, and we just had like fun times. And the funniest thing that happened was that I said to Chris Maloney, hey, this is so fucking funny, but I was like, you know, in the script, like page 1, it says on my first episode, it says that you're like rolled up in a bathroom or whatever. We're seeing you from above, maybe like, but it says you have stockings on, which is tights for Scottish people. And I was like, are they stockings or are they fishnet glitter sparkle stockings? You know, like they should be. And he was like, Chris Maloney, like, imagine this, the most macho man in all of America, maybe the world, probably the most macho man in the world. He was like, Mariana, I don't care what you want me to wear, I'll wear anything. Like, if you want me to wear it, I'll wear whatever you want. And he didn't know what I was talking about the fishnet. Like, literally, if you see a fishnet sparkle stocking, like, you know what it is, right? But it's like, if you haven't seen it before, you're not visualizing it necessarily, you know? But like, women out there know what I'm talking about. And ladies obviously know what I'm talking about. Like, I knew what I was talking about because I fucking love tights. I love, like, my life is stockings. All I do is like focus on tights in my real life. So then I was like, Jesus, it's also kind of like this epic thing where, like, I don't know, like in film, they've like shown tights before, you know, but it's not been the same as this. So it just kind of like, was like a dude hasn't worn this kind of thing in anything. And it was like a visual that I felt was compelling and beautiful and all the stuff. So we are like crushed for time, obviously. So the costume designer was like, Mariana, I sent away for them. This is such a fucking great idea, you know, like wonderful things, but also sent away for them in his size. I hope they arrive on time, but if they don't, like, do you have a pair that we can borrow? Because I feel like since we're crushed for time, we just need to use yours on him. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I have some, so he can just try them on him, like give him a fitting and see if it works. He did a fitting and he tried them on. My stockings, my glitter fishnet stockings, Chris Maloney tried on in a fitting, like in America, in New York, not that long ago. The same year that Venus was when she was shouting to the umpire, like at the Open, the US Open tennis. I was sitting there watching it and going like this, like, I'm here right now, like in this moment, because I sort of went to that for my birthday. So it was the same year that happened. So this is not that long ago. And I also was just excited about the fact that Chris Maloney tried them on. And it's not that he just tried them on, but they fit him. What does that say about me? I don't know what that says about me or him. I don't know what it says about my legs or his legs or my bum or his bum. I don't know what it says, but Chris Maloney fit into my stockings like a glove. Like my tights fit him as if they were a glove, like just fine. And I just thought to myself, it was meant to be. Like, we don't have to wait for the ones to come in the post. Like, it'll just wear the ones that I have. And also, they look gorgeous. And also, if you look at that TV show, like, that's what the whole show opens on. It opens on like this beautiful racking shot of the fishnet stockings that we've never seen on a TV show before. We've never seen it on Happy before. We've never seen this character in that situation. He's very put upon, you know, like he's flummoxed. He's flummoxed. So to see him have something beautiful hold him up was just kind of amazing. And then The other thing I remember about Chris Maloney is that I said to him, yo, can you do these flips or whatever in this scene? And he was like, yeah, I'll do whatever you want me to do. As he just did like 11 takes of these flips, full flips on concrete. And I know what it's like to do a flip. Like, I did glow. I'm like, mate, that is not an easy thing to just do on concrete 11 times, you know? But he didn't, like, wince at it. It was kind of like he's a football player or something. He doesn't give a shit. Like, he's literally seen it all, done it all, been there and did it, like, 25 years before all of us. It's kind of like what Sean Connery said when they hired him, like, as Indiana Jones' dad. Everyone was like, oh, my God, like, it's Sean Connery and he's Indy's dad. And Sean Connery came on set and he was just like, no, mate, I did it before him. Like, he might be smart, but I was smarter than him. I taught him everything. Like, if I'm his dad, I did it before him and I did it better. And I think Harrison Ford was a wee bit like, I've been doing the franchise, father of mine. I've been doing it without you, you know what I mean? Like, you're coming in like a kind of a day player here, you know? I just like that, like the wee bit of tension between the guys. Sometimes there's like alpha men who just come up against each other and you're just like, okay. And that never happens with women. We never like ruffle anybody's feathers. We never want to like ruffle anyone else's feathers. We're all just like finish each other. Like, I always finish everyone else's sentences. If I'm on set with a bunch of ladies, I'm like, oh yeah, so maybe we can, and then they like finish my sentence and I'm going to say what they're going to say and we both say at the same time. And I'm like, yeah, you were going to have the same thoughts as me. Like my cinematographer Mina saying on Collection, we had that kismet feeling, very, very telepathic feeling. It was like I looked in a crystal ball and she knew what I was talking about. That also felt really wonderful. But Happy had a lot of men on set. We had a lot of dudes who were my bosses. And being in that, being a cog in that wheel felt so nice to me. Happy TV show felt like I could do that every day. I was on 6th Avenue and we closed all of 6th Avenue at the Village, you know what I mean? Like at West Village. And I was sitting in my director's chair just like, this is insane, you know what I mean? Like looking up and down 6th Avenue and being like, this is, like we legally closed that fucking avenue, you know, to shoot on. And I used to walk from there to everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Like I used to walk to Atlantic Theatre Company from there in Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? Like with my wee backpack and like I was probably drinking water and just being like, I'm so hungry for life. But then I also remember this feeling of full circle, like doing Suzuki at the Atlantic Theatre Company and feeling like so intense about it and being like, Neil Pepe's really good and Mary McCann's really good. And when you have teachers like Clark Gregg who are really good at what they do and they're teaching you, you go, oh my God, like Karen Kohlhaas, these people who literally were like, whew, like they told you like the gems of their life. Like they told you explanations. Anya Safar would tell you like what script analysis was and you kind of like took it with you for the rest of the time. And it was like, I don't know, I was very passionate. I was like a very passionate student at the Atlantic Theatre Company. And I just dug it. So the idea of being in New York and being a director of this huge TV show and like sitting there with Chris Maloney and this sort of like satiation of that dream or like the full circle of that dream felt unbelievable. And we were on buses all the time. We were on all these New York buses, like shooting the bus. Like, oh, we shot. I was trying to do like this peephole shot through the buses. Had to DP like put like holes in the wall of this bus and stuff, trying to like make this kind of like dappled light, like extreme dappled light in these buses. And because we were using so much power, I do believe that we broke the power line or something, like we burst a power line or something, like there was a blackout because we literally fucked all the power in New York and Brooklyn because we were so eager. And I was like, oops, sorry New York. The last time you guys had a blackout and good shit happened though, you know, like when you get the candles out in New York, people are like, let's have a baby. I have always loved you. Let's get married. Or, you know, people are like, I've never worked with you. We have to work together. That's it. That's like, we have to do that now that it was a blackout. We decided. So we'll live together. We'll work together. We'll be happy forever. Like, it's like all this shit. People are like, wait, I need to have a dog. And then they get the dog of their dreams. And they're like, that's what I wanted. And I got it from the blackout night where dreams come true, you know. But also what the fuck else happened at that time, because there was such cool shit happening. it was intense because it was before all the stuff that happened with me feeling like I was based in LA. You know, it felt like a real good feeling to be working in New York, and I could go to my favorite restaurants that I used to get like steaks in. I could go to, oh God, I could go to Nobu. My God, I could go to Nobu, man. Fucking hell, I could go to Nobu all the time in New York. Oh God. And just like sitting in a diner, like I used to do this thing that I'm sure James Dean did when he was in New York in the 50s. I used to always like sit in a diner and just get a decaf coffee black, like the night, like a cowboy that I fancy. No, just kidding. Who told me that joke? Charles Durning said that. Yeah, Charles Durning's friend at his funeral told me that joke about decaf coffee. He ordered it like that, and I was like, I have decaf all the time, and I say, I like it black, and he goes, yeah, black like the night, black like a cowboy I like. And I was like, oh, and I changed it to a cowboy I fancy. But anyway, I also felt like there was so much reality going on the streets of New York. You know, there's that like crazy feeling on the street where like anything can happen, and it's very kind of like the wild west. You feel like it's still a kind of western town, and it's very just, it's like all this crazy politics happening on the street. And the thing about Los Angeles is you're just in your fucking car, or you're in your pal's car, or someone's driving you, or you're driving yourself, or you're driving all your mates. Like everything about it is very protected. And like everyone has a car in LA. Like people have a car that's really cheap rather than getting on the bus. People like just get in a cheap car. So like everyone's got a car. So like every demographic of person has a car. Whereas I feel like in Scotland, only like BAMs, like a Ned doesn't have a car, but like a BAM might have a car. I feel like a BAM is correctly what I was told when I was doing Neds. I think a BAM is just a Ned with a car. So it doesn't matter if it's a fancy car, it doesn't matter what kind of car it is, it's just BAM, like we want BAM vibes. Like pick me up, do you know what I mean? Pick me up from Glasgow Airport. Anyway, what the fuck am I talking about? Because I have so much shit to say about Chris Maloney and Happy. So Happy TV show, you can watch my episodes. It's a very dark show, but I loved the experience of doing it, and that DGA thing where they are like, you're going to do 2 episodes. They loved working with me. The cast loved working with me. And they were like, she's an actor's director. And I was like, yeah, I know, like I really am. And it felt very potent to also kind of be in these different houses and have these scenes going on where I remember being on the Upper East Side, like shooting all these like buses, and like the stunt guys coming out of those buses like they were moving, and it was all very action film based, but also we were still doing it on the Upper East Side on like Lexington Avenue, and I was like, I love it. And I remember also kind of like feeling this essence of like his house at the end of, I think, my second episode, like my last part of the shoot. We were in like a little house that was just so cute, and it was like a real person's house, and it was exterior and interior for what we were doing, and it just felt really kind of like tiny in there, and like we got to be like really close, as if you would on an indie movie, you know, even though it was a TV show. It was like a huge studio TV show. And then I felt like also that we had shortlisted all this stuff, and then Chris Maloney came in with this idea about changing something, and I literally can't remember what it was, but I do remember having it set up with the DP in a certain way, because we planned it, and it was going to be, because Chris is playing 2 parts. So Chris had this suggestion, and I swear to God it was a great suggestion. I just don't remember exactly what it was, but he said what the suggestion was, and he was like, how much would it fuck us in front of like all of us? He just was like, how much would it fuck us to, like, if we did this other thing? And he said his thing, and it was really a good idea. And I remember being like, I actually would love to do that. But then at the same time, Oh my god, someone's like doing a getaway on my street. Like that was like an action film. Speaking of like New York action films, TV shows, Chris said to everyone, how much would it fuck us if we... I can't believe I said this actually. Like, this is such like a confessional, but this really happened. And I'm such like a nice Scottish person. Like, I'm literally very, like, I don't know, I don't like really swear at work. Not in America. I don't swear at work in America. And I don't really swear at work here either. Like, it's not... Unless it's with my mates, I'll swear. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it's like me and Mullen or something, if it's me and Peter Mullen, I'm gonna be like, fuck's sake, that was great, or something. Like, well done, Mullen. But I don't like, I don't know, it's not like something I just say all the time. I'm not like, fuck, in an audition or something. Like, I don't do that. But, yeah, I don't want you guys to think I have like a potty mouth. I'm just from Glasgow. So, like, we do swear a lot here, but it's like in intimate relationships. It's not like at work. But the thing that Chris Maloney said was so New York. Because he was like, how much would it fuck us if we did this thing? That's my idea that I like just thought of. And it's like, maybe if we did this, how much would that fuck us? And it was literally like our last few days of shooting, or maybe the last 6 hours we had, or something about it was, I felt like we had like 5 or 6 hours to get the rest of the day. And we had so much to shoot on in this angle of him. And then from him being the other side, like he was playing 2 characters. It was very like Eddie Murphy-esque. It was very Eddie Murphy Coming to America. You know what I mean? Like he played every fucking character, but he was playing 2 and we had to like cover both sides him from both ways. And we had shortlisted it in my head and with the DP in a way that we were going to get it done. And we've scheduled it in this way that felt like really doable, even though it was tight. And he said, how much would it fuck us if we just did this other thing that would be this and this and this and whatever it was he said that was like his great idea. And instead of being like, that's a great idea, Chris, I just was like, it would fuck us all the way up the ass. Like in front of everyone. It was like, I don't know if there was like, I don't know, maybe there was like executives from like, I don't know, there was like, everyone was there. It was like the executives from, it was like every department, but it was maybe the executives from like, I don't know if the studio execs were there. They weren't there that day, but it was like, I felt like they all heard me. It was like the heavens heard me. Like even the sound guy was like, and everyone was like even the craft service person was like, it would take too long. Like we don't have time to do that. And we planned this other thing that will get us to where we're going to go. And also is what we have is going to be beautiful, you know? But also I know the DP was glad, because we didn't want to like start from scratch and not get anything, because we wouldn't have achieved anything then. And it's just a funny thing, because when you're directing, sometimes you have to say that. You have to say what the person said back to you in the way they said it in their language. So like if I'd said, maybe, but actually let's not do that. Let's do this thing that we have planned. It doesn't sound as great, and like the whole crew is not going to be like, let's do the last 6 hours now, you know. But because I said because Maloney made that suggestion, he's so into it, and because I replied in the same kind of manner in his like language, I felt like, and I know he felt like he understood what I was saying to him. Like he understood what I was saying to him, and everyone else understood as well. Like, we're not going to do that, Maloney. But also, it's still his show. Like, I'm not saying you're not the boss of me, because he is the boss. But also, it was funny because, like, I don't know, it was like a funny moment. And he was like, his face also was so funny, because like when he said, how much would it fuck us? I said it without thinking, because I'm like literally from Glasgow. Like, this is where we're raised. And I don't know, I feel like grannies on the bus are like, how you doing? You okay? Fuck's sake. You know? Like, they say stuff. Grannies in Glasgow will like say fuck, or they just say shit, you know, oops or whatever. They don't like have a filter. They're not like Puritan. So I think there's something about swearing here that feels a little freeing. And if you do it, you feel a little less mental, because you got it all out, kind of thing. And if it's between friends or comrades, if it's in that kind of like professional way, I would never have said it to him. I would have never said that to him in a million fucking years if he hadn't said, like, how much would it fuck us in the first place? Like, he said that, you know what I mean? Like, he said the F word so I could say it back, and it didn't feel out of nowhere. And I also think that as a director, I do this thing where I'm kind of like, blah, 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 blah. Like I do, like I'm whatever, I'm like here as your masseuse to like do whatever you need. So if you're scared, I'll be like, don't be scared, it's all gonna be fine, like everything's wonderful and I believe in you, you know. And I do, actually. It's not like a fucking fake, it's not like I'm faking it or something. Like I do believe in all the people I've ever worked with, but also I know that each one of them, for me, when I've worked with them, has, as a director, has required something totally different, a totally different emotional language, a cerebral different way of being. Like each person is smart in a different way, or they're funny in a different way. Like there's comics out there that I've worked with that are so specific, and in order to be with them, or like be even considered interesting by them or whatever, or funny by them, you have to like do their comedy back at them and build that trust. It's not like a fake thing that you're doing. It's like genuinely like my church. I love directing because it is a big mass healing, and we all come together, and it is, you kind of go under, like you're servicing them, you're under them, but also if someone's the captain of the ship, like people point to you and they're like, that's the captain. You're like, yeah, I'm the captain. And I'm fine with it. Like I like being the captain. But I also like a collaboration, and I like the feeling of being in a theater company, because I used to do that in Atlantic. It felt like we were all in a theater company, and they still are my fucking theater company. But I also love that feeling like in Glasgow. I mean, like if there's a Citizens tonight, I just saw a play at the Citizens tonight at the new Sits. It's been closed for 7 years. Like, come on, to do a 7-year revamp and then for me to show up at the Citizens tonight was just like, hello, I am here. What the hell? Like, what the hell? This building is fucking gorgeous. It's pristine. It's so, I'm going to post about it because it was so beautiful to just see what these muses were. Like this gold elephants we used to have that I remember as a kid, like seeing them as a kid and being like, oh my God, this is the theater. But also they've made it so easy for people who are disabled to come in. It's actually disabled people friendly. There's so many beautiful bathrooms that are right at the door, and it's like everything's flat, so you don't have to, you know, if you've got a pram or you're on wheels because you're so cool with the wheelchair, you can just go push right in, and there's no, I don't know, there's like no stairs. Like there used to be all these like wee nooks and crannies and stairs and fucked up shit you can even get up in if you had like a set of wheels on you. So that's really beautiful. But also the person who greeted me at the door was like a fucking angel, and just the vibes of the play were really epic. And I don't want to talk about the play too much because I'm going to do a whole other video about that, but it was beautiful. And yeah, I was wearing like my Celtic green because I had my Tony Curran outfit on. So back to my stories to Tony Curran, I was telling him about Happy, and I was telling him about Collection, that when I met Alex Pettifer at the Peninsula, he was excited because he was a fan of Good Dick, and I was like, yo, Alex, actually, I'm a fan of yours, like, because I wanted to work with Alex for so long, because I knew he had been a director as well, and I just wanted to work with somebody who had done a film that was as brave as the film that he directed, because it's about, like, the film that he directs about incest between a brother and a sister, which is so taboo, and the way he did it was really beautiful and very European and very kind of cinematic, and the performances were like off the charts. So I was like talking to him about that. But then he said about the fact that Good Dick was such an epic thing that he literally felt connected to, and he was talking to me about Glow and all these other things, and I also felt like I just wanted to do this job with him. And I was like, look, I just want you to be our brand, and like he said he wanted me to act in it too, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll do that. But I also had all these, I did end up being Oscara in it, and I had like an all gold dress, which is truly gold, real gold, fully pure gold dress. That if you watch Collection, I think it's on Prime. You can watch it anywhere just now, but Collection was very anti-ICE. It was pro-immigration in the States. It's pro-Latinas. It's definitely about a girl from Nicaragua who's literally specifically Shakira Barrera that I hired from Glow because she's my Glow sister. And I was giving it a lot of Carla's song vibes. Shout out to like Robert Carlyle, like fucking hell. Being a bus driver in Glasgow and then just like seeing Carla on the street in Glasgow with her skirt. Being like, where are you from? Because I don't think it's from around here. And I told Shakira all about Carla's song and we watched it. And I know that I got Alex to watch as well. But it was very much the base of their relationship in the film. So if anyone from Carla's song wants to watch it, or if I know Ken Loach was like very different than what I was doing in the States at that time, like 2 minutes ago. But I know Ken Loach has like a huge career, but I do like love him and have always loved him because ever since Mullen did My Name is Joe, we're all just like, just fucking, you know, I mean, we just do this all the time. We just like, we know you guys did well. It was a good film. Mullen got the Palme d'Or in Cannes for My Name is Joe. And everyone loves that film. Glaswegians love it so much. We like that they shot Botanic Gardens. We can't believe she threw the ring. Throwing a ring in, get the river, fuck it. I was always like, get the river emptied, get the ring back. We need that. I was like, don't throw the ring in the river. No, like that. No, like, come on. Like the things that go in that river are like dead bodies and shit. Like, why are we... I don't know. Like, I was always wanting it to be a rom-com. I thought it was a Nancy Meyers film. You're telling me it's Ken Loach right now? Okay. Maybe I'm like the meeting of a lot of directors that I grew up watching because I watched a lot of Polish cinema as a kid. I didn't have a TV, so my mom and dad were like, you can watch Wajda, you can watch Kieślowski, all of the Kieślowski films. You can watch anything that a Polish director, cinematographer has done. So we did a lot of like watching cinematography because that was something that we thought about as kids. And mom and dad were like, this is new wave French cinema, you can watch it. God's sake, we watched a lot of really like ensemble pieces. Sometimes we would see old movies from the States, like old Hollywood. We saw a lot of like Marilyn Monroe films. We saw kind of every James Dean film, even though there's only 3. We saw like everything Scorsese. Like as kids, we were watching a lot of that stuff. And I remember just loving Mean Streets and loving Coppola films like The Godfather and shit. We just like watched that shit. But also the feeling of straight time, the feeling of shooting on like a 50s lens, because my mom had a 50s Nikon. So shooting on a 50s lens where you feel the person, you can see the person in focus and everything behind them is out of focus. And Apple iPhones don't do it justice, but it is a beautiful lens, and that's like the reason I wanted to do anything I've ever done, because it just felt like good. And the idea of bringing all these themes back to the States, like as a director, was like, yo, you guys had these amazing films in the 70s. Straight Time, where Dustin Hoffman is with this most beautiful girl who just has the most normal hair in the whole world. And all of those things are like really inspirational to me. So I don't know, like I was talking to Tony Curran today for so long about everything that he's just done, and I got to hear so many things, so many of his stories that were really like amazing about Lockerbie, and everything that he's been doing just seems really, really sweet and also epic. We got to talk a lot about the same people that we've worked with. And also I felt like I could say that it was crazy that he had the same color on as the coffee shop that I was in. That's my favorite coffee shop in my area. And I was just like, oh my God. And when we were saying goodbye, it was such a laugh. I was just like, oh. And then I was running to dinner and then running to the play, because the play started at 6. And I might tell you just a wee bit about it, because it's actually a musical. So if you don't like musicals, don't keep watching this. But to have a musical open at the Sits for the first time, and to have the Q&A, they had like a Q&A with the head of the Sits who directed it, and also everybody else who, like Dominic was there, everybody who was in the cast was sitting, and it was like very intimate, and it felt like the first time that the Sits has ever done a Q&A in the new space. I was like, I will be there for this. and I will like bless them with my vibes, because I felt like I was like this, like holding space. Sometimes it feels like when you're directing, you're really holding everybody's energy. And I remember when I was doing Good Dick, it felt like that. You know, that was the first film I ever did, and it felt like different people would come to me with different fear voices, and I'd just be like, love, 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 belief, 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 faith, 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 faith. You know, like it was genuine faith I had in them and everything in the project. And I never questioned the manifestation or the creation of what it meant to go from being a stage actress / model, like with a H-1B1 visa, to like fucking being a director, you know, who wrote it. I wrote the screenplay. And I also was saying this to Curran today. Like I always say shit to Tony Curran, and I'm like, he's like my, I don't know if he's like, I don't know what he is, but he's like my spirit animal or something, where I can be like, oh yeah, I forgot that thing about my life, where I did believe so much in myself in order to do that first thing of going from being an actress to being a director. It was very, I said to him today, I was like, no, I didn't say I'm thinking about directing. I just said, I'm a director. I'm directing this. Like the minute that I met my producers, Cora and Jen, it was like the spring, or it was like the fucking February before the autumn that we were going to shoot. We ended up shooting in the autumn, and I was like, yo, I'm directing this. Yeah, no, like I'm directing it this year or whatever I said. And they were like, oh, cool, you know. It was very much, I believe in the big dream, come to my party. Like I'm already getting married, so come to my wedding. You've got an invite, let's go. It wasn't like, oh, maybe we can do this. Do you think we could do it? I don't know if I'm doing it, but maybe you guys want to do it. But I don't know if I believe in myself enough to do it. Like there's so many people out there who are like, I'm thinking about maybe doing this thing. I could maybe do it. And I was like, don't even fucking say that. Just say I'm doing it. Because then you're a writer, you're a director, you're doing it. You've done it. You're a screenwriter. It doesn't matter. Like your fear voices or your whatever that voice is, it doesn't matter. You gotta like just, you gotta say it, you gotta believe it before, you gotta say it before it happens, kind of thing. So the growth of becoming a director from being a stage actress in New York to being a director in LA felt massive, but I did the hard work of that like at my house before I met anybody. Do you know what I mean? Like I was just sitting at my house, getting like, but not bigging myself up, but trying to figure out how to get away my own fear voices to figure the shit out. And then it felt like when I was talking to Mark Webber or Eric or Martin Starr, it felt like, yo, you guys, like this is already a vision, so we're not going to necessarily do anything other than a play for the crew, you know, like we're going to make sure we have such a vibe. And then I remember having Catherine Waterston and Elizabeth Waterston, and they were just like my little like gifts. They're such like sweet motherfucking angels over there. They're like America made angels, and they're Catherine Waterston and Elizabeth Waterston. If you ever wonder what an angel is, that's them, because they are so pumped for life, so into like the history of cinema, so into the history of plays. Like you can talk to them about Chekhov and shit, and they'll be like, I know what you're saying. But they also like are schooled, but know what the, I don't know, they know what the deal is in terms of like bringing enthusiasm and like keeping it fresh. And they were so young, but like so funny. And I like cast them as the Giggling Girls because I fucking wrote that duo for them. I wrote that scene for them because they were my mates. And I was like, they literally should go in this video store and just be the way they are in real life. And I don't think anyone else has put them in anything. Like there's, because they have like fucking glowing careers. I mean, we were all children back then, but like literally we're babies. I was like 21, but we were such little, we were Waynes. But I remember being like, they're going to be movie stars. And they are movie stars. And they have glowing careers. And I don't know if anyone has used them in the way that I fucking use them in Good Dick, because I swear to God, I feel like that is who they are in their essence as women. And there was something like lady to lady that was cute about that. There was some kind of like female exchange, like friendship thing happening that was really kind of like homaging our friendship. And also they just look incredible. And obviously we're well dressed because Daphne Javich did the costumes. And I remember as well feeling that sense when we were done shooting. I remember Andre and I, the cinematographer, he was literally like a godsend. And he said to me when we were shortlisting, he was like, yo, I said, I know you're older than me and you've been to AFI and stuff, because he was, and he had been. And I was like, so just you tell me, you know, if you have any ideas or something. And he was like, no, Mariana, like, you're the master. You're my boss. You're the master. And I'm like, you're a servant. And I was like, okay, I have a dream, so let's just make that happen. And I felt like so cool that he gave me that gift, because he could have been a total asshole, or not even an asshole, but just been like what most people would have done. He could have said, well, yeah, actually, you know, maybe I do have some, like, I don't know. He was like, just, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm not in charge of this train. Like, you're in charge. It's like he had worked so much that he could give me that gift, and that he's okay with, I don't know, he's okay with collaboration on that level. And he just likes and respects women, like, naturally. So obviously that was happening as well. And then it was all these kind of like radical things happening every day on Good Dick, where I was like, I'm not wearing makeup, I'm not having a bra, like, oh my god, like, I don't even, like, I want to have dirt on my face. Like, I said to the costume designer, I don't want to push a bra. Like, I think Daphne put me in whatever the fuck, but I was like, I don't want to, like, don't make me look good. She's been sexually abused. She's not like dressing up to go somewhere. She doesn't go anywhere. She lives in her house. And also, like, she was like hermit to the nth degree. And I said to the costume designer, no, to the makeup lady, I was like, to the girl, I was like, yo, just so you know, like, put dirt on my face. I don't want makeup. Like, I want to be dirty. Like, she should be greasy haired, like, make my hair greasy. And the makeup artist was like, day one, she was like, are you sure? Are you sure? And I was like, yeah, just like the whole shoot, I want to be like manky. It was funny. That happened in Bitch as well, where I was like, put more like brownie batter on me. Put more, because I need to be covered in shit. I need to be covered in dog poo. Come on. And everyone was just like, oh, this is crazy. And I just remember how funny it was that I'm like the anti, I don't know, like, I don't want to like look fancy. I want to like, I'm a character actress, you know what I mean? I'm like, give me the job. Like, I'm like, I want the job. Give me the job. Thank you. Now I can do it. And I'll be real. I don't want to like wear fake eyelashes or some shit. And I haven't worn fake eyelashes in anything. I don't care if you do wear them. It's not a thing. But I just feel like for me, I'm like, I can't deal with it. I can't deal with like the glue and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? I'm on my, it's like in my eyes where I can cry for in a scene. Like, why would I, like, did Hamlet need these fake eyelashes? No. And I don't know. I just feel like there's so many things out there that are fake. And I just feel like that whatever you are in a real way, like actor to actor, that's what we look for. We encourage each other. We love each other's realness. We want each other to be, you know, just greasy haired and whatever. Like, we don't care. I don't know, like, at least the people that I worked with don't care about appearances. They don't care about their egos, like Bryce Howard and Seth Gable, who have been my mates forever. Oh my god, like, I couldn't have done anything literally without them, because they're literally not just my mates, but like my steel. They're like my steel, or like my spine or something. Like, Bryce is like my fucking spine. She's not just my mate, she's like my strength. And she gives you this like ability to have like capacity to do anything. She's really like, she just bigs everyone up, and she does this with everyone who she's mates with. And Seth is so intelligent as well. Like, he's so emotionally intelligent. You can just be like, fuck's sake, mate. Yes, she said to me, like, this next period of time is about being discerning, like discernment. And I was like, I am being fucking discerning. Like, Bryce, you fucking know me already. Like, these next few years are about being discerning. And I was like, I've already been doing that shit, so welcome to my life. And also, they were in Good Dick. So, like, I put them in Good Dick as the, like, loved up couple, the married couple. And they're just, like, kissing and in love. And she's pregnant. She was really pregnant with Theo. And I wrote them in because I knew they would be the opposite of, like, what the man needs to see in that time. And at that moment, it's, like, not what he needs. And he's also, like, brokenhearted. And he just is like, oh, my God, how can these people be so in love? It's so difficult if you're not with anyone to see people on the street who are so bloody happy, you know, like, we've all seen those people where they're just like kissing and happy and pregnant, and you just go, oh my god. if you're brokenhearted, it hurts. It's like a wee sting in your wee heart. It's like salt in your little heart wound. And then Charles Durning came on the set. He was so epic to work with. And he was just special. I got all the guys to work in the video store at night, and we were shooting at night. Or they worked in the video store for like a month beforehand because I wanted them to be like so bored of working there and know how to do it, because I hate it when people in films don't know what the fuck they're doing. So like, you guys have to like literally work there. And Cinephile, that's still there in Santa Monica, they were like, well, it's kind of West LA. They were like, yeah, Mariana, that's so cool. I was like, you can just have people work here for free. They're actors. You have people who work here for free, and also in exchange for that, it would be great. Because we shot at night in there, so we didn't have to, they didn't like lose any business hours because we were just shooting at night. And that meant that Charlie showed up. Charles Durning came to us at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. And I think I said in another video that he said a sex joke that was really funny, and I loved it. And it was also just like, oh my God. But also directing him was just the highlight of my life. Like, I felt like I could, because the dudes were doing well. All the acting was so incredible in the film. It felt like Amberly and I had prepared everyone really well. And it felt like, oh my God, we were doing something that it felt like Andre's people and all his AFI peeps were happy. It felt like Cora and Jen were happy. Cora and Jen felt like that set was like being at a spa. They said that it was very relaxing because I was very relaxed because I'm not going to like panic about anything. And also I was so prepared that I wasn't confused about anything. And then I also felt like the next thing I directed was kind of very Scottish. And then the next thing I directed was Always Worthy, where I felt like I directed my best friend, Amberly Coulson, who was also such a helping good dick. And then she didn't really need direction. I mean, she did, I guess, need direction, but we were like best friends, so it was like funny because I was like, yo, we've already fucking talked about this, but how about this? And I remember because she wrote it as well, and it's based on her one-woman show. Always Worthy was about her like thinking that she fancies this movie star guy, and she wanted to change him a little bit. And I remember in the writing process, when she was like talking about writing notes, I was like, don't change him too much because you wrote him so perfectly. And that thing where like he's there but he's not there for her, like he's there but he's not there for her, and it feels so real now. Like when you watch Worthy again, or you go back and watch it, it just feels so feminist. It's all about the mom. It's about the great mother returning to the great mother. It's about being a fucking artist. We shot in America Martin's, like, oh my God, studio. Like, Nancy's so good in all these scenes. Like, the performances are so epic. Finally got to work with Sue-Ann, like, Jesus Christ. And also being able to have all these, like, female singers and female artists also felt really nice. And Shanola Hampton is in it, Rain Phoenix is in it, and I remember asking Rain if she would do it from this house I was like house sitting in at the time, and I remember Rain saying yes, and me just like fucking being so excited to work with her. And when Lucas Haas said yes, we were like, he's perfect for this dude. And I still have a fucking t-shirt of his that somehow my mom ended up getting. Somehow, like, my mom came to visit me in LA, and then she like had this t-shirt, or I think I left it in Glasgow one time. I don't know how it got to my mom's house, but like my mom had this t-shirt when my mom came to visit me the very last time, like last year in LA, or 2 years ago in LA. My mom's like wearing Lucas Haas's t-shirt, and I was like, mate, that is from fucking Always Worthy. Like, that, he's literally, it's like his v-neck. I owe him this shirt. And I think I said to him, we will dry clean it, we will return it to you. Like, even if it's an international package, like, I will send it back to Lucas Haas because it's such a nice t-shirt. And my mom and I were laughing about that because we just were like, oh my God, the things that like end up in my house is kind of sometimes funny. But the other thing that I thought was really wild about Always Worthy is Amberly had this moment where she had to hold it all together. She had to do 25 things, and she had to rip up her in one take, because I love one takes, especially in this kind of thing when she's becoming her own vision board. And we put like sparkles on her face at the end, which you should just watch it for the visual of that. But I just felt like she's doing all this crazy shit. She's like living her weird girl LA life at the time, and her wild girl LA life, I should say. But I also was like, oh, yeah, can you do like these 25 things plus, like the Vanessa, the DP, was like, yeah, it's like we can only kind of do it right now because the lighting's going to change in 2 seconds, and then we'll have to do it. We'd have to like reset the whole thing, and we don't have another one of these things that she had to rip up. And if she didn't rip it up and we didn't get it perfectly, we'd have to do it again or add a day of shooting or something, because it was literally a really important story point that she rips up the vision board. And do you know what I mean? It was like pressure. Amberly like knew that she had to get it in one take. And because it was this tiny movie, like we were doing this on peanuts. We didn't even have like fucking anything. Like I didn't even think we had craft service. Like if we had craft services because I brought like my sandwiches or something, I don't know how we fucking ate on that film. I'm not even remembering. It was like Sarah Lynn Armour was like, and Mitch. So I know that they would have like brought craft service. I just don't think I ate it because I was like, we're like a poor film. But then it was so good because, I don't know, Amberly in that moment with all that pressure, and you know what, these like short, tight, and they're not short, it wasn't a short film, it was a feature, Jesus Christ, I've never done a short, but I was like, Amberly, you know, I don't know what I said to her, but it was inspiring enough for her to like just do it in that one take. And she did it. She cried. She had to rip the thing up. She did it all. We got the tears, and we saw her rip up the vision board, and on the monitor where it says like indie or actress or something, or acting or Sundance, I don't know what it says, but it's like she's got this vision board of her doing all this shit that she dreams of. Like instead of being an out of work actress who's like doing these shitty jobs, like shittier than waitressing jobs, she just has these visions of like doing all this, being everything, you know, and being all these things that she has like conceptual ideas of. And then she rips up the vision board, and in the frame, her little bits of it like land in the frame, and you just go, that's so epic. Like it's almost like we planned it, but we didn't. It was just something we got in one take. And it's stuff like that where I remember just being like, I didn't care what the budget was. I didn't care. Like it was better that it was my friend Amberly. It was epic that we were like in my friend Curran's house. Like it was all these things where, do you know what I mean? Like everything about it was so pure and potent. So when you get something like that, because the stakes are really high, and when you get something like that, when you're like an indie filmmaker, there's something so satisfying about it that doesn't feel the same when you're doing like the big things, because big and good is really good to do. I love doing big and good. And small and good can also, and is usually more beautiful, but is also like more meaningful, because you're like, fucking hell, it was harder to get here sometimes. It just felt really meaningful to me. And yeah, like as a director, being able to just sit there and be like, oh my God, like this has all come to fruition. And Amberly gets to have her red hair, and I got to sing a Scottish song in that epic scene where she's got her red hair and she's got like the wallpaper, her binder that's all little paper dolls. You're like, yes, this is so cinema. And I love doing the poster for that film, because I was like, it has to be, everything's left to right. Everything about cinema moves left to right. So it's not just justified camera movement, but we're following the person. Whoever the film is about, the camera always follows them. So like they can move and the camera can follow them like this. They can move and the camera follows them. But if they stop, the camera stops, because that's cinema. And they can move around and the camera can be still. But the camera doesn't do that unless you're like doing a documentary or a fucking something else. I don't know what you're doing, but it's not a movie. It's not a TV show. Maybe it's something that's not cinematic that you're doing. You're making us all sick. But anyway, I also feel like being able to be there for Amberly as a friend, director, and collaborator, it felt like being in a theatre company. It felt good. It felt like full circle. And then we went to Newport Beach Film Festival. We were excited. We got to see it be on the big screen. We got to talk about it. It was just so wonderful to see her one-woman show come to fruition like that. And then the idea of working with other people who had seen that also was really nice. So they knew that we just done Always Worthy. I played Genevieve in Always Worthy as well, and I beat Amberly up. And I remember being scared to really hurt her because I'm so much stronger than her, and I literally didn't want to touch a hair on her head, but I was also like, oh god, we have to get the shot, and I'm the director, so we should get it in one. And we did. I think we did 2 takes, but I was like, mate, this is difficult for me because I just remember like, this is so hard, but I remember pulling her dress. She had like this very sequenced dress on her. I don't know why she had sequins on that day, because that was her outfit for like, it was like the whole, this is a very long day for her as a character. So she's always wearing the sequin dress, but it's like a rose gold sequin dress. And I ripped it off her, and I remember kicking her tummy with my leg and my foot to push her away so she would get out of the dress faster, because otherwise it would be too painful for her to like go through all these like, do you know what I mean? Like if you have like the jaggy bits of the sparkles, you're like, oh no, like that's not funny. So I literally pushed physically. I think you can see it in the scene. It's in the take. I pushed her away with my leg. It's so weird. My foot is like on her stomach, pushing her away. It's such a weird moment, and Genevieve was pissed. I don't know how to tell it. I don't know how else to say it, but Genevieve was upset. And yeah, Amberly and I also had this thing because we met in acting class in LA, which is like oxymoron to go to acting class unless you went to Roy London's acting class back in the day, which was like in West Hollywood or something, and we were all like, why didn't we go to it? Because he died before we all got there. But there was a really good acting class in the Valley that Amberly and I went to, that we met in, and we got to talk to our acting teacher who had been in like Star Trek and shit, and we were like, mate, like how did you do that? And I just remember him doing this thing where he was like, I just did it like that. And he was saying how he had a bow and arrow, and he just fucking made it look so real. And that's why they hired him. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool, you know? We didn't know. We hadn't done a lot of shit. So we were like, oh wow. You know, like we were these like theater geeks. We knew everything about plays, and we'd watched a lot of cinema, but we hadn't like done a lot of film and TV. It was like a weird time, actually. It's a funny time. But when I met Amberly, we had to do this scene where she was like, I don't know what it was. She was like the wife of she was like the girlfriend of my father or something, and she'd broken up my parents' marriage or something in the scene, and I had to slap her, and I just remember really not wanting to hit her. Like I didn't want to fuck up that moneymaker. Like she has such a nice face. So I was just, I don't know, it was a weird time where I feel like I hit her, but I didn't want to, and I think everyone could tell. But I don't know, I think I made it look okay for stage. For camera, it's so much easier, but stage, you have to actually like fucking hit the person. Kind of, like you have to make it look better. Like it's kind of like a more realer moment, or you play it more kind of, you have to play it different for depending on where the audience is. But anyway, I was just kind of like, I didn't want to hurt her face. That was funny as well because I had an epic time there. It was wild times, and I'm sure I was so, before I even did Good Dick, I was very tough and really like, I don't know, I was like, this is good and everything else is shit. Like I had a lot of really high-minded opinions as an artist. So I would be like, this play is great, or this art show is fucking great, but that play was shit and that was a shit art show. Like you could never, I don't know if you could please me or not, because I had such high standards creatively, and I was really kind of hard to please. But then you would see a play, you know, that was life-changing. Like you would see, like I saw, kind of around this time, I saw Blackwatch at UCLA, and I was just like my life changed, and like I was shaken by that play and all the performances. I was like, this is so fucking good. Because it changed all of Scotland, that play, and it changed what it meant to be Scottish. It changed what you could do as a Scottish person. It meant, I mean, I could fucking do anything if they did that, you know? And all of my friends felt like that as well. So it was really kind of like cathartic and inspiring, but also it was like all over the LA Times. I remember just holding onto my LA Times for so long, and all these other papers that had Blackwatch in it, and just like really revering that production as if it was like my best pal or family or something. It just felt like this is like, these are our people. And what the fuck else did I do? I'm like trying to remember. There was a lot of stuff happening because after All Was Worthy, I did a lot of Sundance things. I had like panels at Sundance that I did. I was a judge at Sundance for Diane Bell, giving her the award in 2010. Then I did Restive in Texas, where Jeremiah was my director, and I got to run around Crawford for a summer, Crawford, Texas, and I had a southern accent. And I played Jeva, but you think that she's running to save her children, and you realize she's actually, you think she's running away from her husband who beat her up. And actually what's happening is she's running to save her children, running back to the house. And you just, it's so sad at the end when you realize she's going back to this horrible guy who was her husband. And Chris Denham played my husband in that. And he was so good. He was so scary. In real life, he's dead nice, but Michael Mosley also played this guy that I killed. I stabbed Michael Mosley in that film with a antler. You guys should watch it just because it's a fucking epic film. For all these reasons, it was very feminist. The guy who directed it and wrote it had done a lot of coaching of women. He used to be a football player, American football. And I remember when I got to Texas, I asked him what it was like to be a football player, you know, to play for Texas or whatever, or to play for his team. And he said, it feels like being in traffic and you're one of the cars, but like being hit by cars. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, fuck, nothing I've done feels like that. You know, like nothing I've ever done feels like that. Like even Suzuki training where you do the stomping in Suzuki training is so hardcore, but it doesn't feel as bad as that. So I just respected him a lot. I was really interested in his perspective. I loved that he was a coach after he did a lot of the football. He was a coach, and I love that he coached a girls' team. I just thought he was an ace person to talk to. And he said something so interesting to me where he talked a lot about like the pressure in football to just catch the ball. Like you better fucking catch it. Like you go home and all you do is dream of catching it. And then the next day when you're eating breakfast, you dream about catching it. You imagine catching it and you like feel the ball in your hands. You just want to catch that ball. And if you fucking don't catch it, there are 2,000, 3,000, hundreds of thousands of men who will come on to that pitch and just catch it instead of you, you know? So it was very enlightening, and there was a lot of insane stuff happening in Texas at that time. I learned how to shoot a gun. I learned that I have broad shoulders, so I don't have a lot of kickback. So a lot of the locals loved me for shit like that. I was just doing a southern accent the whole time. I was doing a Texas accent specifically, so they all thought I was from Texas, which is funny because I wasn't. And that was the only time I did that level of immersion because there was something about it where I didn't want to be like in the way, or it wasn't about me, it was really about the story. So being able to kind of give it that life felt really cool. And I remember in rehearsals with Chris Denham really realizing why I did the job in the first place, because I felt like domestic violence is such a prevalent thing, and ladies who are involved in it, it's hard for them to get out, and they do stay for the kids, and if they try to leave, it's impossible, and they attempt to leave so many times before they really can leave, and it's difficult. It's all very challenging. So we talked a lot about that. I remember talking to Chris Denham about that because he's also written a lot of plays. And I remember saying to Denham, how can you write a play? Because all I think of is movies. Like all I think about is films right now. That was all I could think about. Like I had all these visuals of films like coming to me. Like in every day I would just see films that I was going to make later. I saw Bitch and I saw these like visions of stuff. And I was like, oh my God. You know, stuff that we did in Collection, like the dance scene with Shakira, where you're like, oh, we can't take our eyes off of her. People were crying when we shot that dance scene because it's like not salacious. Shakira plays a dancer, she plays a stripper, but she's not being objectified in that scene. And you see her like head and her intelligence, and like the way we shot it is the female gaze. So you know what I mean? Like, it's beautiful. You could show your kid it and be like, yo, this is like a beautifully shot scene. It's inspiring because she has like this high-waisted velvet on that I chose from this beautiful, really beautiful lingerie company that I know, that's also handmade. And I felt when we were doing that scene in Collection, it felt life-changing. And it was almost like when we were doing Restive, I was beginning to think about stuff like that and how to shoot like a strip club, because I don't go to strip clubs. I don't like them. I've never, like, I'm like, I hate that idea. Like, I want to like employ those girls as opposed to let them dance for dudes. Because I think Peter Mullen told me about a painting that, I don't know where he got this idea from, but it was so true. It was like some painting where there's a female dancer. Or no, there's a male stripper, right? And he's in the painting, there's one side of it, and he's a guy, he's a male, and he's throwing all his stuff. The girls, there's all these ladies in the audience, they're all together. They're laughing with each other. It's like mates with mates or whatever. And they're having a laugh. Like, they're pointing, they're loving it. They've got like spilled wine. They're like, I don't know, they're giggling, and it's like very joyful. And maybe they're pointing at him, and whatever it is he's doing, he's like into it. And then the next frame is a painting of a female stripper, and it's like she's by herself on the stage, she's not enjoying it, and there's like two guys in the audience, they're not sitting next to each other, and they're just looking at her vag, but like they're not even like smiling, they're just like, and the difference between that is so, it's our society, but it's so challenging, you know. It's like, oh my god, like how true, and how like it makes me salivate inside my lips to be like, oh my god, that's true. And also, how fucked up is that? And I wanted to, for a really long time, I've always wanted to shoot in a strip club because it was like my kryptonite, it was like my nemesis. It was like, how would I ever do that? And the way we did it with Mina and Collection was so rewarding. Mina, my DP, and we did it so beautiful. And it's literally the part of the film where he falls in love with her, but he falls in love with her soul. And somebody said it was my costume designer, who's literally like one of my favorite people. She said to me on Collection, she was like, the reason people can't stop looking at this scene, or the reason people are crying at this scene, like grown men who were watching the monitor were crying, and people who were watching it in real life were crying. And I was like just shocked that we got it finally, and I felt so glad. And Shakira felt amazing. So all those things were nice. And then, yeah, so my Tora was like, yo, Mariana, afterwards, she was like, the reason why it was so meaningful is because, and she's the costume designer, but she saw it all go down. She said it means so much because most of the time when people shoot a stripper in a movie, it belittles us all. It's like, it's gross and you don't want to look at it because you're like, this is disgusting. And the thing about this is what you've made, it's so beautiful, you can't look away, you can't help looking at her. And when she said that to me, I was like, oh my god. Like, I was like crying, like I wasn't gonna cry at this because I was like keeping it together. But when she said that to me, it was so meaningful. And it was so true about like my whole fucking life as a director and everything I've ever done. It was just like, oh my god, that's why that's like how I service the world. Like, that's how I want to continue. And that's my whole MO, you know? Like, I was like, you can't help looking at her. It's such a beautiful, I don't know, I think you should put it on my gravestone because it is very kind of like descriptive and very feminist, but it's also about guys, because the men who were in the room that day were also like who we did it for. And it was this thing where the dudes in there were like starting to talk about their daughters and shit and how they could watch it. And I just thought about it because I thought, you know, like, wow. Like Mike Vogel was saying how he could talk to his kids about it and it could be informative in this way that was different than anything he'd ever seen before, you know, about strippers. And I was like, yeah, I agree. And it's just how my mom raised me. Like, that's how my mom is every day. She makes everyone feel like that. So it felt really maternal, very like, it's all about the Baptists in Poland. Like, they do this all the time. They make you feel like that. They make everyone feel like that. And yes. So that feeling is times 1,000 in a funny way, because you can see a line of all of that stuff. You can see that through Bitch. You can see it through all the like 18 films I made now. There's so many that I've done as a director where you can say, actually, that is true, you know. It's no lie that we spent all this time doing that, and being able to feel like people get to enjoy the set and feel seen and heard, and that I can do what each actress needs me to do or actor needs me to do. Because when I did Egg with Christina Hendricks, she felt similarly, where she had been not necessarily in great dynamics and great working dynamics before. And when she came to us, she felt really seen and welcomed, and there was no, you know, I think a lot of the time she was like in a kind of, it was like, there was a lot of animosity or like fighting or something. And in my set, there's none of that. Like, no one's ever fighting with anybody. And I, as a director, would never try to manipulate or be annoying or be aggressive or whatever, like egotistical or like play games. I don't know what it is that she had been through, but it's definitely something that, it's not like Anna Camp didn't say that too. Like, a lot of people I directed said similar things where they were like, it feels really nice to be directed by you, like in terms of respect. And I was like, oh, cool. It should always be this way, by the way. Like, this is what this is just what it is normally. Like, it's like this all the time. And that was definitely how we felt on Egg. We were kind of like, screw the people who have been odd to these dynamic and fucking beautiful actresses, powerful actresses, deep souls that are these ladies. And Alicia Rayner was so good. And I was like, oh my God, the script is so good. I thought it was funny to shoot that film too. Egg was a cakewalk. It felt like being at art camp again in the summer in New York. And I just remember Nina and Tara and me kind of staying at the Ace Hotel and getting picked up every day at 6 a.m, and they were still asleep because they were, you know, they were like on holiday in New York, even though they were there because I was working there. And Tara would come to set and see each department. She was like in every different department. My niece Tara was so cute. And then I just remember, like, we shot in Orange, New York. I just remember that so much. I remember the drive. I know exactly where the fuck that is. And we built this whole set, and we built my living room, my childhood living room. This is really true. Like, Zelmira would be like, this is true. She was my DP, and Sally Levi was like, yes, we did. My living room that was in Thornton Hall when I was growing up, it's a very fancy neighborhood, but we had a very like artistic living room with this interesting like paint. It was like a really beautiful painting on the wall that was abstract, that we copied entirely and put in the film. Like, we put the color, we like, it had a little bit of red in it in real life, and in all my work I don't do red at all, zero red in any of my films. So we took the red bits out of it, but the whole thing was a wee bit more purple than it was in real life. But I remember, like, every day I was going to work, I was like, this is my living room from the age of my birth to like the age of 14 or something. It was funny. It was really like the dreams come true visually. Because you have those dreams sometimes where you're like, fuck, I'm in my old house, you know? And I actually was. Like, I was sitting there, when I was sitting with Alicia, I'd be like, yeah, so talking about the scene today. And I just would be sitting in my lounge. in Thornton Hall. It was so funny. And that's where they had all the fights. It's where we had all the different heights for them, like the levels of power in the film. Like we were trying to Orson Welles it and do levels of power. And we did the movie shot that was all one take with Alicia and Christina Hendricks, where it was all just one take. It was like 3 pages, maybe it was like 6 pages of dialogue. I think it was 6 pages of dialogue that we did in one take. And I couldn't have been more excited as a director. I was like salivating on the inside of my mouth. It was so exciting. And I would go back to the Ace Hotel and Nina and Tara would be there, and we would go to Maid, which was down the street. It was next door. It was like the street over from the Ace, and I would just have a salad, like a chicken salad, or they would have gotten me the chicken salad from Maid, and I would come back to watch Rachel Maddow at like 6 o'clock or 9 o'clock. I think she was on at 6 o'clock in the East. Yeah. We would all watch Rachel Maddow as a family, like in my tiny hotel room. I would have a bath or a shower, and then I'd eat my salad, and we'd watch Rachel Maddow, and we'd just be sitting on the bed all together with Magic, my dog, and it was just paradise. Like, it was literal paradise. And then Tara would say, yo, Mariana, like, let's go to this place because we have to get matcha dessert, or we have to get this chocolate bomb thing. Like, Tara would have seen, as like the 12-year-old or whatever that she was, my niece had seen things on her little iPhone online that said this is the best dessert in New York or whatever, and that's the shit she wanted to go to. So like middle of the night we would go to this stuff. Middle of the night for me, which was like 7 p.m. We would go to these places, and then I'd go to sleep and wake up at 5 again and do it all again for the next shooting day. But I remember how precious those days were in New York, and it was just like wonderful. And God, it was such a good time. It was so funny, and there was so much funny shit that happened on that set, and I can't even explain my funny stories about that literal journey, because Michelle Gainless produced it, and she had done everything to do with Comedy Central's. Like, if you look her up, she literally did The Daily Show, South Park, like everything, Key and Peele, everything that's on Comedy Central, she did it. And you're like, hi, like, how the fuck did you do that? I didn't say that to her. I was like, I'm so honored to be working with you, because the first time she did a film, she wanted to do Egg with us. It's the first time she produced a film, and I was like, welcome to cinema. I had her like sitting at the monitor. I had her daughter Lucy and their dog. I was like, you guys, the dog is part of it. So it was funny, because on set it was like everybody brought their dog. Christina brought her dog that was literally, Christina Hendricks' dog is exactly the same person as her, but it's a dog. It's like a cocker that's like all ruby colored, and you're like, yes, this is a fucking beautiful lady of a dog that is Christina Hendricks. Like, it is what she would be if she was a dog. And if that dog was a human, it would be Christina Hendricks. So we had like all the dogs on set constantly. I had female sound designers. It was so fun. Like, that set was filled with so many interns, and I said to Michelle, let's put them in specific jobs of their dreams. Like, find out what field they want to be in, you know, like if they want to be in production design, like put them in that department, or if they want to be in the production office, like put them in production office. Like, don't have them in the wrong department that they're not passionate about, you know. So we definitely had so many interns who loved their experience doing that film, and it was so beautiful. We built the whole fucking thing, and I loved seeing the grips, like build it all and make the lights and then bring it all down, and at the end it was like, we're done. We packed it up, it was gone. It felt like so cathartic, it felt so worthwhile. It felt like, my God. We went to, Michelle Gainless gave me the best advice of my life, which is a whole other video, but she's so calm and cool and collected. I felt really like, oh, this is what I would be like if I was a producer, just like chilled out. The other thing was, and like generous. She's very generous of spirit. And I also loved it because at the end of that moment, Nina and Tara had gone back to Glasgow. And just when I finished filming, it was Fashion Week in New York, and Alicia was doing her, she has a fashion show of her all organic, like all good for the environment clothing line. And she said, stick around in New York so you can at least do Fashion Week and see my show with my clothing line. And I said, yes. So I went to that, and then I also got to go to the Missoni show. I said to Jennifer Missoni, yo, I'm in New York. And Jennifer Missoni said, you can go to the entire block and a half that is Missoni, New York, where you just pick your clothes. And like, I got Missoni socks. I got a scarf that looked like this. I can show you guys. It looked like this. This is Kurt Krieger, but this is Kurt Krieger copying Missoni when I literally was like already wearing that in New York back in the day, like not that many years ago, doing egg. So I got to go out every night for Fashion Week wearing Missoni. Jamie King was there for Fashion Week, and for some reason we went to like every fashion show and every party, and I just wore Missoni the whole time. And I also wore Missoni swimsuits on the red carpet, because when I went to the big place that was all Missoni, like everyone's wearing Missoni dresses, and I said, can I wear your swimwear on the red carpet as like an outfit? And they said, you can do whatever the fuck you want, Mariana. And I was like, thank you. And I did. Like, if you look at the pictures, I'm wearing their swimsuits. It's Missoni swimwear, but it's like the most beautiful shit you'll ever see in your life, and red carpet worthy. So anyone who wants to copy that idea, definitely homage me, but you can totally steal that idea from me. And the other thing was, I went back to LA because that's when I was doing Glow, and that's when I got into Tribeca with Egg. I got to come back to New York and go to Tribeca with Egg, and Bryce and Seth came down to watch Egg, and it was so epic. And I remember talking to them about it after. I think they liked it. I remember they liked it. I remember they liked the performances, and they just were like moved by the concept of it, because it's such an interesting concept. When I read the script for Egg, I thought to myself, oh my God, like page 5, I think I called my reps, and I was like, can you guys just say yes to this job, because they offered me this, and I just want to make sure that it gets so good, and I want to do it. Like, tell them right now I'm saying yes, because it's already so good by page 5. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, I hope nobody else does this film, or they don't get a different director to do it in the interim of like me reading the rest of it, because I read it so fast. And then it's also in a period of time where, like, if somebody sends you a script at 11 at night, I'm going to read it. You know what I mean? I'll stay up and read it. If there's a script in my inbox, man, I'm going to read it. So, I was always really passionate about that. And then I think I know what it's like to send a script to somebody and that you want them to get back to you. And David Laveau got back to me when I sent him Good Dick. And one day on here, I'll read you guys the letter he sent me, because it's so beautiful. And David Laveau had said, you're a director to me, like, a long time before. And I felt like he was the only one who knew that I was going to be a director. He sniffed it out before I even did. And I was like, oh, fuck's sake. He knows. And when I sent him the script of Good Dick, because he sent it back to me, he emailed me back and said all these nice things. He compared me to Almodovar, or he like referenced Almodovar in that email. Like, it's the most beautiful email anyone's kind of work-wise ever written to me. I was like, fucking hell, like, this is such a gift. And it made me able to make the film then. Like, I could direct Good Dick because of Laveau's email. And I told Catherine Waterston about it because I was late to meet her in this beach, like one of the 3 beaches. There are 3 beaches north of Zuma. There's state beaches in California. You're welcome, guys. Like, look after them for me, but they're all beautiful. So I said to Catherine, meet me on like whatever, this one, the second one or the third one, whatever, and I'll be there at whatever time. And the time that I was supposed to be there, it's the only time I've ever been late for a human, because Laveau's email came in and I was literally late reading it and writing him back and then driving to Catherine. I knew I was going to be like an hour late. So then for me, that's like deadly. I'm never late for anything. Like, I'm always on time. because I went to Atlantic Theatre Company, you're always on time, you're 15 minutes early. Like for the play tonight, I was there at like 6:15. It started at 6, I was there at like 5 or 5:15. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, I was probably there earlier than some of the actors or whatever. But anywho, Catherine Waterston knows what that Laveau letter was like for me because it's a game changer, and I went up to that beach to tell her, yo, I'm a director, all this stuff. And then I think I've told the story before. Like, I tell the story to my mom, and my mom almost laughs because she's like, do the Catherine story at the beach, the Laveau letter. Because Catherine Waterston, who's been in good dick and my good friend for like my whole life. So I was like, oh my god, mate, you park, you have to run down to get to the beach, and it's so difficult because you can't see, there's usually nobody there, so you're like, oh my god, is this person even going to be there? And I couldn't see Catherine, and then I was like, oh my god, maybe she was there and she was asleep. That's what it was. She'd been asleep because she was like not aware that I was like 4 hours late or some shit. I was probably only 2 hours late, but I was like, Catherine, you need to wake up, like, Laveau's letter, oh my god, now I'm a director, like, da-da. She was like, this is amazing, let's go in the water and let's swim. You know, when you're on the beach, you like really have to go in the water. She'd been on the beach for ages. This is my favourite juice in Glasgow. Scottish. Whole earth organic cola. But it doesn't have sugar in it, obviously. I'm sweet enough. I said I'm sweet enough to some ladies in JFK when I was leaving. Yeah, I was like in JFK recently, and I was leaving the States to come back to Glasgow, and I was like, they were like, do you want like sugar in your matcha? Do you want syrup in your matcha? Do you want syrup in your matcha? And I was like, no thank you, ladies, I'm sweet enough. And they pissed themselves because it's like they'd never heard it before. They were like, whoa, okay. And they were laughing so hard. Like, they had like such a sourpuss face. And then when I said that, they laughed for like 5 minutes straight. I don't know why. And I was like, you can say that again. Like, tell other people that, you know, you're sweet enough. They were laughing. Like, I was like, it's such a Scottish thing, but it's like Glasgow. This is like a very Scottish thing that people say all the time here. I love it. So I was like, I always like to say it. Anyway, it was funny about the David Laveau moment because David Laveau doesn't even know this shit. I don't think David Laveau even knows this happened right after I read Slayer. Catherine and I almost died because we were so spaced out. We got like, you know that thing where your life is just changed? You used to be a stage actress only, and now you're like a movie director. It's like, what the fuck is happening? You feel like you've had a lobotomy or something, where you're just like, wait, what is happening for a second? And then you get back to yourself for a second. You're out of body is what was happening. So Catherine and I were just going to have a nice time at the beach because we were going to have a tan. We're going to get tanned. Obviously, I like love working on my tan. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to work on cinema and work on my tan. That's my life's MO. That's my journey. And Catherine said, let's go swimming. And because I was so spaced out because of the Laveau letter, and we had these stringy bikinis on, we go in the water, and because it's the fucking Pacific, we get pummeled like there's no tomorrow. It's not like the Aegean Sea. Do you know what I mean? You're not like you're not like at Mitsela, you know, in Greece, where you're like, this is the Aegean Sea. There's no waves, you know, or the waves are really small, so the grannies and the babies can go in. It's like, no, this is the Pacific, and the waves are gargantuan, they're huge, and they smash you, and you're basically fucked, like you could die. So, but you could hit on a rock or whatever, you could do anything. It's gonna smash you, it doesn't care about you. And even if you try and go under that shit, it is not your friend. Like, it's not your friend. And also, we didn't even try and go under it because we were so spaced out. I like forgot to say to Catherine, this is not Mattapoisett, girlfriend. Like, it's harder than that, you know? Because that's where she's used to going swimming. So, oh my God. So then I'm like, I've killed my friend Catherine. All I know is I've been pummeled. My bikini top has been ripped off. My bottoms of my bikini have been ripped off because this wave in California is so aggressive. You don't want to swim it. It's not funny. And I was like a Euro and she's like from the East Coast. So we were both just like, what the fuck is California waves? Like we were learning it that day. And then also I remember not just having I was naked, so I was like ashamed. And then suddenly I had my finger in my mouth and I got smashed on the bottom of the ocean, like the land of the beach, like the bottom of the ocean, the seabed basically. I got smashed in it like that. So I had like I literally had a hole in my lip that was bleeding, and I had smashed my finger. I crushed my finger, and my whole fucking, this part was swollen. This was all swollen, and I was like dripping blood, naked, crazy hair, obviously. And I was like, my fucking friend Catherine is dead. I don't know where she is. This is fucking horrible. And I was like, Catherine, like screaming her name. I didn't know where the fuck she was, and it took me a really long time to find her, and she was literally like on the other end of the beach. The waves had like smashed her to fucking San Francisco, you know? Like I was like, that was a fucked up wave. And then she was also like trying to find her bikini. I was like, where the fuck were we? Like what just happened? And where's my bikini? I don't know. Like we found our bikinis. I think it was like my Evas one. Like I got it back. I found it somewhere, but it was literally, took me it was a slog to find it naked and also dripping with blood. And it wasn't like a good look. It wasn't attractive. It wasn't like gorgeous, but I'm sure I like drove home in a daze because I definitely was going from Malibu to probably Brentwood at that time. It wasn't far, but it was definitely like a fucking slog. You know, if there's traffic, it's a slog getting out of Malibu no matter where you're going. If you're going down the street in Malibu, you're like, this is gonna be traffic. That was such a funny time, and also very precious memories. Like precious because shit like that they don't tell you in school. They can't prepare you for shit like that in drama school. And I think that's when I met Catherine for the first time, was in London, because she was doing like a program. She was doing a RADA program, I think. Yeah, I fucking met her in London, I think. She was like drinking whiskey and she was at this party, and I was like, who the fuck's this American like drinking Scottish whiskey and like from a flask? Like, is she, like, I was like, is she Sherlock Holmes? Like, I was like, who are you? Like, are you a woman from like the olden time? Are you like Lady of Shalott or something? Like, why are you? Because no one in Scotland, no one in UK at that time, none of my English friends would like drink whiskey from like a flask, you know? But she would get the whiskey and put it in a flask and drink from this little like flask. It was so debonair or something. It was funny. And I was like, wait, who are you again? And she was like, no, I live in Primrose. She was like, I'm renting a house in Primrose Hill. And I was like, wait, what are you saying to me? And she was like explaining her life to me. And I was like, you're living in Primrose Hill and you're drinking this whiskey from a flask. Like, we have to be best pals. This is fucking crazy. Like, you're from America? And she's like, yeah. I was like, fuck. Okay, brilliant. And I saw her act in like some play and I was like, this is so good. Like, I just remember being like, this chick's fucking amazing. And like a genius. Never mind her wee flask and her like, she was explaining to me that she used to run up and down the hill in Primrose Hill, like the actual hill of Primrose Hill. And I was like, that's lovely. Sure, she was like drunk doing it or whatever, like drunk on her whiskey or hungover from her whiskey or sweating the whiskey out or something. But a class act, like you never forget a first impression when it's that good. That was fucking class. And then I also remember her cooking me dinner, like for some reason in New York, and just laughing a lot. And there was a lot of like dinners and laughs that we had, you know, like in her New York place. But then there was a place that she stayed in, or Elizabeth was staying there. Like someone was staying in like West Hollywood, I think with Moet Hashimoto, like, and I would go there for dinner a lot because they would just like cook really good meals. And I remember cooking with them and cooking a bit too and having a fucking laugh at those events. Like it was such a night of like fucking raucous ladies being funny as fuck and smart as fuck. I don't know, it was good times. And then when they didn't live in that flat, in that apartment anymore, I always remember that area of like Hollywood, West Hollywood, thinking that's a cool area, that's a cool street. Because like they made it cooler, we made it cool. And the feeling of like driving in LA and kind of not knowing where you're going, but you end up at some place that's really special. Like it felt like LA can be yours, you know what I mean? Because everyone's got a car, so you can go to the beach, you can go to the skiing in the mountains for like an hour away's drive. You can go to the mountains and be like, this is me skiing, I'm cold, it's good. And then jump in the ocean the same day. And I remember seeing a lot of films at like the Aero. I remember going to a lot of really epic films in the cinemas on 3rd Street, and I just remember like feeling very like cinema based. The idea that you could go to a lot of cinemas as well felt cool for me, because you could do a lot of plays in New York. You could see a lot of plays in New York. You could do a lot of plays, but in LA it felt like you better go watch that film. And there was lots of premieres. Like, well, I went to tons of premieres at the same time as doing other people's films or seeing other people's films. Or I remember going to my own premiere of Good Dick at the theatre that's right next door to Cinephile. We wanted to show the film there because we shot the film right next door, so it felt very like poetic and poignant. And we had our cast party, premiere party in Cinephile as well, and that felt really cool. Because I came up with the idea for Good Dick standing in Cinephile and looking at all the names of directors, because they have a wall, all their whole wall, all their walls in that place is directors. And I remember just seeing it was all guys and thinking, I want my name to be on that wall, and I want to have Good Dick, my film, be up there and it say Mariana Palka Good Dick. And because I had that vision in the video store, I thought to myself, what would be a really good way to shoot in here? Like, what would be a story? And I just saw the whole fucking thing. The guy was standing in Cinephile, had never directed anything, had never fucking written anything, and I just got all of Good Dick like downloaded for me, standing in Cinephile as a customer, like as a film fan. Because I just fucking loved cinema so much that the idea of a girl who's renting erotica, like, because there's an erotica section in Cinephile as well. Like in real life, there's an erotica section. And it is like shitty erotica. And I remember renting lots of erotica around all the different places in LA and finding the right erotica films to be in Good Dick, because I was like, what would she watch? Because she wouldn't watch anything other than erotica. So I had to put the names of those films in Good Dick script, and they had to be like her taste. And I had to do so much research. I had to watch so much erotica before and during that whole process. And I remember going to Laurel Canyon, like that place. It's like Sunset and Gower. There's like a Crunch gym there. And there used to be an HMV or something there. I can't explain what it was, but it was like a place you could buy DVDs. Because there's a cinema in there too, so it's like a big shopping center. And I go in there, because this is me, like 22 or 21 or 20. I was like 20 years old. I was doing nothing, just like bumming about. I had done a play or whatever, but I was like bumming about. And I was driving there to see about the erotica, to like find what erotic tapes they had or what erotic DVDs they had. Because whatever they had, I was going to watch them VHS or DVD, I guess, because I had both VHS and DVD at that time. And I would like collect all these erotic, whatever they were, erotic. Oh, it was a place that you could rent. It must have been a video store. Yeah, it must have been a video store. So I went to every video store in LA and other places on the planet. Like I went everywhere to find, I went to places in New York, I went everywhere to find what my character's erotic taste would be, like what these films would be. But when I was on the one in Sunset Gower, and I had like barely even, maybe I had started writing Good Dick, but I was like in the process of it. It was a very active time creatively for me, but like no one knew anything that I was doing. It was like a big secret. And I was standing there and I rented Student Nurses, which is like a 1970s film. And this is like before the internet. So you couldn't like watch any of the shit. You couldn't be like, this is this thing I want to see and I'll go get it. Like you had to see what was in the video store and get what was there. So we didn't have choices. You couldn't be so picky the way we're picky now. We're so picky now. So these American guys are like, hey, you're renting Student Nurses. It was just rented yesterday. I mean, it was rented out and it came back yesterday. It was out for a long time because guess who the last person who rented it was? And I was like, who? And these cunts who were talking to me, the video store guys, did not know that I was going to direct a film. I didn't even know I was going to direct a film. Like, I knew I was writing something, but I didn't know what really, like, it hadn't been finished or anything. And I was like, who took Student Nurses out? Because it's like a fucking erotica. It's like pure erotica. It's like cheesy erotica 1970s, like exactly what my character would rent. But these dudes didn't know that I was like doing this research for a character, obviously, that I was writing and gonna act in and direct. And so they said, guess who just brought it back here yesterday so you could rent it today? You'll never guess. And I was literally like, who? And they were like, Quentin Tarantino. And I was like, Mother of Christ. Thank you. Thank you that he brought it back on time for me to rent it. And thank you that I took it home and I watched it and it wasn't even exactly what, like he was, this is a funny thing. He was watching it because he wanted to watch that film. As a man in the real life, like in his real life, he wanted to watch it as a human being. That's what his soul called for. Like when you go to a video shop, what your soul calls, like my soul would call for Last of the Mohicans and Apocalypto and like shit like that, where I'd be like, yo, can I see Godfather 2 again? Like I'd just be like, I want to see Tootsie. I want to see some like, you know what I mean? I'd be like every Marilyn Monroe film. I'd be like every Polish film. Like give me, you know, all of Scottish cinema or something. But for Quentin Tarantino to have rented that film out off his own volition, like that's just what he does on an average Tuesday, because it was also like midweek. I was like, that is fucking hilarious. Like, what a great guy, and thank you for telling me. And now I have like a great story to tell my mom, which I did, by the way. I remember like driving away and being like, this is fucking funny. But Student Nurses, don't watch it. It's not that good, you know, like it wasn't what my character needed from erotica, which was the Eros, ever-present lover, something that could be her version of what would like be in this one corner of, like, if she's been sexually abused, this is the amount of shit that could turn her on. It's like that. Do you know what I mean? Where like if anyone who's got like turned on by, if you're turned on by all of this stuff that's like this, you can get turned on like this if you haven't been sexually abused. But if you've been sexually abused, the shit you can get turned on by is this. It's less than that. It's like a hair. It's like one of my thin hairs here, you know? I've got like really fine hair. I've got a lot of hair, but it's fine. It felt like the epic quality of being blessed by Quentin Tarantino's vibes and knowing that he had like touched it or whatever. It's also like a funny thing when you get a video, like that was the old thing about it. That's what I love about Good Dick, is like she has to wear plastic bags on her hands to take the tapes out because she knows that other dudes have like touched it and it's disgusting. and they've probably like jerked off or whatever, and she's like doing something different here, you know. It was funny. Also doing like female masturbation scene at that time, I don't think anyone had done that shit. Like, no one had done it. I'm trying to think if anyone had done that shit. I don't think anyone had done it. I remember talking to a lot of people about that. Everyone being like, that was a big step to see that in cinema. But the way we did it too was so like the billowing window. That's just what happened that day. There was this take of the billowing sheet, because she would always like cover it's such a great character concept, but she would always cover her windows with sheets, because if she was going to jerk off, she didn't want anyone to see. But the window was billowing, like the air was like billowing the sheet up into this like big ball. And it's kind of like what it feels like if you're a woman to like even start thinking about having sex, is this like just that first breath. And like, I don't know, there was something about it that felt like it should be in that scene, because we had it for some reason. We shot that. It was just extra. And it made sense to put it right there. And I feel like that's why we got into Sundance. Yeah, shit like that's like why we got into Sundance. But also, I think the fight in that scene too, the crying, there was a lot of crying. I just remember crying and screaming at that. Like, there's a leave scene, which I also was like, when you tell somebody to leave and you really want them to leave, what are we seeing in these like Matthew McConaughey films at the time, or like these cheesy rom-coms at the time, where it was like, oh, I'm gonna go, you know, or people being like, I'm gonna leave. And it's like, mate, no one fucking leaves like that in real life. Like, if you're upset and you're gonna tell someone to go, you probably do it like the leave scene. You don't really do it, you don't say please leave, you know, like no one ever says shit like that calmly when the stakes are that high and when they have that much I don't know what she had, like fear of intimacy or something, like a deep fear of intimacy. So she was like pushing him away, and then he comes back and you're just like, that's nice. And I remember shooting all the stuff where she's walking through all of LA, and she's walking, like she doesn't have a car because she gives her car back to her dad. I like that scene now. Like, when I think about it, when I think back to it, I'm like, she fucking gave the car back? Like, no one in LA gives their car back. People would be like, okay, listen, yes, my dad sexually abused me. I don't have a good relationship with him. He bought me a car. He bought me my car. I'm going to drive the fucking car. But, like, I don't have a relationship with him anymore. Like, he's out of my life, but I'm never going to see him again. But, like, obviously I'm going to fucking keep the car. People would do that. But she doesn't give a shit. And she'd been so put upon her whole life. No, she never stood up for herself. She'd never known how to stand up for herself. By the time she knew what was happening, it was too late. Like, everything about it wasn't her fault, and she didn't know it wasn't her fault until, like, that day, like, that morning. So when she goes to his office and she's like, she goes to her dad's office, she's like, I'm basically not your daughter anymore. Like, I don't want any of your money. Bye-bye. I love Tom Arnold in that scene. He's so dark by being so like, it's okay, babes. Like, don't worry about it. Like, the way he performs that, being the dad in that scene, is like pitch perfect, but it's also terrifying because he's being really kind of like nice and doesn't understand why she's suddenly got gumption. And it is that thing in the 1930s where they said women had gumption. Like, in these old movies, they had gumption, they had might, they had like they made a stance. Do you know what I mean? You didn't have to like them, but they made their own stance. You know, it's not like kind of now or at that time in cinema. There was like, nobody was making, characters weren't saying anything. They weren't standing up for anything, not even themselves, you know. So, and women were being so badly written or not even written for, like just standing there in the background or something. And you're like, guys, there's a fucking brain in there, you know. She's got a soul, she's got a heart. Like, show us her face, show us her head, like give us her ideas. And I was really like punk rock about that shit. I was very aggressive. So my thing was, like, it was a very sweet film. Good Dick was very, very sweet. But when I was doing it, it was really like an FU. Here's how I think about stuff. This is what I think it should be. This is what I think cinema can be. This is how movies I grew up watching. Like, this is who I am as a Polish woman. This is who I am as a Glaswegian. Like, you know, it felt really like I fucking came from Atlantic Theatre Company, like, in New York. Like, I'm a fucking theatre actress, you know? Like, I was like, fuck all of you guys. Like, it felt very fuck you at the time, I guess, but I didn't think it would be something that anybody watched, anybody liked. I knew my mum would like it, and like maybe Peter Mullen might watch it and might like it. I didn't take that for granted at all. That was not assumed by me at all when I was making it, but I knew my mum would like it. I knew Babcia Bronya, my granny, would like it, but I also didn't fucking know that anyone would watch it, and it was very low-key. Like, it felt very humble and chilled out, and that the fact that thing that I did that was like the most low-key thing of my entire fucking life, where I turned everything I was doing, I dropped everything I was doing to try to make money, and like just did something for the art of it, you know, with my mates. Made something with my mates, basically. And that's the thing that made money, went to Sundance, went around the world. I was on TV in Poland, like all this crazy shit. I remember I didn't even have sleeping pills, but I had to go to like Nancy and be like, hi, I know you have sleeping pills, so can you give me a sleeping pill? Because I last minute got invited like to Poland to be on TV there, like in some, like a number of hours. Like by the time the flight gets there, it will be there 4 a.m. or some shit, and I'm going to do like a TV show, this like morning show for them at like 5 a.m. I have to be there. So I have to sleep on the plane. Like, there's no way I cannot sleep on this flight. And it was so funny because I was like, tell me what to do. And I was like talking to a drug dealer or something. So I was like, I don't know what this is. Like, give me a sleeping pill. And I remember just how I didn't know that thing where you have to take it with food. So Nancy was like, so you take the whole thing or you take a half, but probably take the whole thing. I don't know if she told me to take the whole thing or half, but I think she was like, take half and then take the other half if you use, I don't know what she said, but whatever she said, take it with your meal. And I remember doing all that. And like, usually like, it was all these people on the plane, like, we're Polish. And I was like, this is great. They're all going home. Like, I love these people. Like, I was like at LAX, like, these are my people. But they were going to be loud, and I was going to need to have taken that sleeping pill, thank God, because otherwise they would have kept me up. And also, there was some shows on or like films on that I wanted to watch, and I was like, I'm not even going to watch cinema on a plane. I must be going somewhere nuts. And I literally took the sleeping pill, fell asleep, woke up the next day, and I was like, I had so much energy instantly. I was ready to go. I don't know. Like, it makes you think maybe we should take sleeping pills every night. I haven't even taken one since, I don't think, but I just needed one for that airplane because I had to like go do Good Dick in Poland on national television, speak Polish about it and make fucking sense. And I remember saying I wrote it for Poland. Like, the whole fucking thing is Polish. The character's Polish, the lead character's Polish. He always talks to his babcia on the phone. His babcia's always calling him, or mamush is always calling him. And you're like, mate, there's a lot of Polish vibes in here. And the Nusha Korczak thing as well, like babcia's voice is in the film. Heniosh, and you hear her like buzzing him, and he gets the gate code from her package that says Nusha Korczak, which is my babcia's like alias that she had. It's like her spy name. She wasn't a spy, but it was like her name, her fake name she had when she moved to a new town in Poland to make a new life after the war. And I loved that name, and I was just like, this is such an epic way to homage like the godmother vibes or the babcia vibes in my family, and that like all the ladies on that side of my family are dead like interesting and dead kind of like beautiful. And to go to this place that's like my native land with the film that I had just made was, for me, top notch. It felt like the cream on top of the crop, like getting the creamiest part of that milk and going, this is for me. Yes, like I'm getting the cream on top of this. And I remember saying that I wrote it for Poland. Oh, because it was going to the Polish Film Festival as well. that was the other thing that I think that I was there for. So I had to like stay for the Polish Film Festival, and then was in Krakow for something for that for many days, and then like weeks or something, and then came back to LA. But I felt like I did Poland justice, because I definitely had to be on TV very early that morning and be like, I'm here for the film festival and the film is gonna play. And then sitting at the Polish Film Festival and hearing Good Dick and the Polish jokes in there, the shit that's funny about that film, the reason why it's so Polski is it's a Polski film. Like, it plays well in Poland. It's funny as hell in Poland. Like, if you want to watch it in any cinema in Poland, I'll give you my fucking right tooth in here, like my highest tooth up there, my molar. I'll give it to you, because I want you to know that that's true what I'm saying, because it literally plays, Good Dick plays so well in Poland. It plays better in Poland than it did in a lot of other places. Like, it plays really well in Scotland, and I know it played really well in the States, because it's like American, Polish, Scottish, but also, I don't know, there's a way to show it with a Polish audience, because it's got to be done, which we love. And I just drank all my cans of juice. I went to the theatre tonight, which like rocked my fucking world. I saw Tony Curran today, which was epic, and maybe I'll post another video about the David Laveau letter, because that is like just supreme creative vibes, and what a gift. And also, I can't even remember what I was going to say, but this is a funny video. Like, this is a funny one. I don't know like how to say that I'm almost done with my Polish honey. I hope it's Polish week soon, because this stresses me out if I can't get any more products in Poland. Yes. Oh my god. So good night, everyone.